So Look Both Ways is a really solid new Netflix movie, but I would say it does play it really, really safe, but you can't deny the fact that it's got the sensational Lili Reinhart, and anything with Lili Reinhart is just going to be absolutely brilliant. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel, Lifestyle Critic. I hope you're having a brilliant day. So in this video, we are going to be reviewing Netflix's brand new original movie, Look Both Ways, which I guess has got aspects of a romantic comedy movie in there, but it's actually so much more than that. And I really liked it. It's a really, really nice film. It's a truly wholesome movie as well. And I absolutely loved it as it looks at that famous age-old question about what your life would be like if a major event turned out very differently. And I love the way in which they show, things will be different, things will turn out very, very differently. There will of course be challenges along the way, but everything will be okay, which I think is such a nice message. And I just cannot wait to break it down for you in this movie review. So on the eve of her graduation, main lead character Natalie takes a pregnancy test and her life then diverges into two different realities. One in which she stays at home in Texas and decides to raise her baby girl, and the other one in which she follows her dreams and goes to LA, and then the film then follows both of these different storylines and sees all of the craziness that happens for this character. Now, from a positives point of view, like I said before, I absolutely love the fact that it really does show no matter how your life turns out, everything will of course have loads of different challenges, there will be loads of different experiences as a result of it as well, and there will be loads of different types of relationships, but certain aspects will cross over. And I really, really did love those little nods where they did kind of have one thing that happened is a big storyline in one part, but you do touch on it in another part, which I thought was really, really clever. Loads of relationships in this storyline as well. And of course, multiverses is the flavor of the month, so it's really cool to kind of see a bit of a low-key version of a multiverse-based storyline. It's really, really realistic as well. It's not too over the top, it's not too far-fetched, it's really grounded. And I guess if you compare it to Lili Reinhart's TV show, it is so dissimilar to Riverdale, which I think is really, really hilarious. And I do think it's really, really interesting in terms of one big decision can have very different outcomes for a person's life. However, from a negative point of view, like I teased right in the beginning, I do feel like this movie does play it really, really safe, and they could have pushed it. Obviously, they don't need to go too far-fetched with it, but they could have pushed it in terms of a bit more drama. Even though it does have challenges in there, they really could have made them a lot more powerful, a lot more impactful as well. As ultimately, it does play it really, really safe. But that being said, I do feel like from a storyline point of view, it is really, really solid, as this was their vision, and as they did want to create something really, really grounded. And I think they're really, really successful with this. And I think the final few moments, the final couple of minutes, are just so powerful, and it really does bring the whole storyline full circle, which is really, really great. So even though I do definitely think they should have and could have pushed things a lot further, I do feel like what they did create is really, really solid as well. So from a cast and characters point of view, they're actually really, really great in Look Both Ways. So let's go through them one by one. So first up, of course, we have the incredible Lili Reinhart. Now, I'm a massive Lili Reinhart fan. I think she is such a formidable and super talented actress, and I think she absolutely smashes it as Betty Cooper in Riverdale. So it's really nice to see her playing a completely different type of character, and she is really, really likable in both of the different storylines, and the core of this character is the same no matter what happens to her. But I think it's really, really interesting about all of the different challenges and situations that she has to deal with. And I feel like she plays both of the different versions of this character really, really well. Super likable in both realities. And Lili Reinhart is pretty much in every single scene of this movie, and she holds it together really, really well. Next up, we have her parents, played by Luke Wilson and Andrea Savage. And they were so funny when Lili Reinhart's character, down the road where she does choose to keep the baby, when she announces this to her parents, their reaction was just absolutely incredible. I feel like those scenes were easily some of the funniest in this entire movie, and they did show that actually they are really, really supportive parents, even though that particular road isn't what they expected for their child. We've also got Danny Ramirez, who is playing Gabe in this movie, and he is the person that sleeps with Lili Reinhart's Natalie character right in the beginning, and is the father down that road. Gabe is such a nice guy, such a nice character, and things would have turned out very, very differently if she had a bit of a douchebag that actually she became pregnant with. But Gabe for sure is all as a secondary character, and he does have a nice storyline arc across both of the different journeys that the Natalie character goes through. We've also got David Corenswet, who is a really nice guy, another really nice guy from LA, and he is also really supportive to the Natalie character down that path where she chooses to focus on her career. And I feel like, this character could have had so much more depth. I mean, some of the early sequences were really, really cool, but after that, this character just became so vanilla, and very similarly to Gabe, I just feel like both of these characters just could have had so much more dimension to them. But that being said, for the storyline that they wanted for this character, I feel like he does it really, really well. We've also got Nia Long in this movie, and she plays a really, really cool, harsh but fair type boss character, which I feel like a lot of people can relate to in terms of how their managers may well be. And she is a really successful animated artist in Hollywood, so is really inspiring the Natalie character. And finally, we have Aisha Lee, who is playing the best friend from high school that travels with Natalie to LA in the storyline in which she does actually go to LA. I feel like their relationship, I didn't feel like there was that much chemistry, but I did feel like, you know, she was a really great best friend to Natalie. And so, you know, from a cast and characters point of view, overall they could have definitely given them a lot more to do, but I feel like Lili Reinhart definitely holds everything together in this film really, really well. So from a visuals point of view, this film definitely does have a bit of a 90s vibe to it. It's really, really simplistic, really, really stripped back, and I feel like they do a really good job in terms of having certain cues so that you know which path you're on. And I just love that construct of this film in terms of seeing, you know, two different realities for this one character, and you do feel like you are on the journey with this character, navigating through all of the various different challenges and just trying to make her life as great as it possibly can be. But on that point, I do feel like it does do a really, really good job in terms of really showing that, you know, life is really, really hard. Even if you do have this massive 5-year plan, things really don't always go to plan. And the way in which you have to respond to this, I feel like is really, really inspiring, actually, from this character's point of view. I feel like they show LA really, really well, and her parents' lifestyle is a really, really rich lifestyle. So I feel like this character is really lucky as she is able to lean on them for support. And I feel like all of this is captured really, really well from a visuals perspective. So from a comparisons perspective, of course, the movie that comes to mind straight away with this premise is, of course, Sliding Doors. And there are so many similarities from Look Both Ways and Sliding Doors. I would say Look Both Ways is a little bit more simplistic and is a lot more positive than Sliding Doors, but I do feel like they're really, really similar. Also, the whole what if aspect has been done quite a lot in TV shows in terms of a what if episode. For example, the What If series by Marvel Studios. And of course, like, you know, other what if episodes, for example, in Desperate Housewives, have explored similar concepts, which I think is really, really interesting. And we've, of course, also got Picture Perfect and Sleepless in Seattle, which I would say is also a little bit similar to Look Both Ways as well. So from a comparisons perspective, this movie sits in really great company. So overall, I really enjoyed Look Both Ways. It's a really well, fast-paced movie, and I feel like you can follow all of the different storylines really, really well, and I feel like they depict life really, really realistically as well. I would have loved it if they would have explored a lot more challenges and a lot more craziness that this character has to deal with, and would have given the guys in this movie a lot more depth. But, you know, it is a really nice, sweet movie that is really, really easy to watch, and I think it's a really wholesome movie, and it will definitely leave you with a massive smile on your face when you finish watching it. And so for all of those reasons, I'm going to give Look Both Ways a solid 6.5 out of 10. Now I'd love to hear what you thought of this film, so please let me know in the comment section below. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you in my next video.